Lease options are one of the most powerful real estate strategies that most investors never learn, and that's a huge mistake. In one of my recent videos, I broke down what lease options are for beginners, and today I'm giving you the exact step-by-step process to execute on them. I've done hundreds of lease options deals over the years, and this system has made me millions. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to structure, negotiate, and profit from lease options like a pro, all while helping other people attain the dream of home ownership. Now, quick recap. What is a lease option? Before we dive into the steps, let me quickly recap what a lease option is. If you need the full beginner explanation, check out my other video. I'll leave a card for it up here. A lease option gives you the right to lease a property with the option to purchase it later at a predetermined price during a certain time period. You control the property without needing to own it. There's two sides. You can lease option from a seller, or you can lease option to a tenant buyer. The real money is made in doing both. That's called a sandwich lease option. Now let's dive into the step-by-step on how to execute on them. Step 1, find the right property and motivated sellers. Now, not every property works for lease options. You want properties owned by motivated sellers who need flexibility. If you've been following me, you know my first option is always to buy on owner finance and sell on lease option. Except buying on lease option is another tool in your tool belt. Look for landlords who are tired of managing tenants, or sellers who can't sell traditionally. Maybe people facing foreclosure, or owners who need monthly income. This works on single family homes, townhomes, small multifamily, or frankly, land too. Properties worth $100,000 to $400,000 are my favorite price range to work in. And make sure to avoid condos that have very high HOA restrictions or payments. Where do I find these houses? There are several places you can find them. You can send direct mail to absentee owners, absentee out of state, preferably. You can go to Craigslist, rent-to-own ads. You can check out for sell-by-owner online ads, foreclosure lists, or networking with wholesalers. But there's a key question you've got to ask sellers. Would you consider a lease option where I handle all repairs and give you guaranteed payments? Step 2, you got to analyze the deal. Do the numbers work? Is the deal profitable? That's most important. You need 3 key numbers: current market value, monthly rent potential, and your target purchase price. So here's my formula. The property should rent always for more than your payment going out. Can I get more in rent every single month than I am paying out to the person I'm buying the house from? Your option price, typically, if you're buying on lease option, or your purchase price, if you're buying on owner financing, should be 10 to 15% below market value, so you can at least get a little bit of profit in there whenever you resell it. Let's say you get a $200,000 house and you lease option it for 3 years and you rent for $2,000 a month. Now, your profit comes from a monthly spread and the back end when you and your buyer exercise their option. Make sense? All right, let's get into step number 3. Structure the deal. How do you structure the deal with the property owner? This is where most people mess it up. There are some key terms to negotiate. 1, option price. What will you pay when you exercise your option to buy? Monthly payment. What will you pay to the seller every single month? And who handles maintenance and repairs? This is my standard structure. I pay the seller $300 to $500 below what the market rent is. I handle all repairs that are over $100, and I make sure if I ever am going to buy on a lease option that I get a multi-year lease option so I can assign and sublet the property. Now, here's the critical point. You need to make sure that you have the right to sublet and assign it. With our agreements, you can. Without this, you have no way to put another tenant buyer in and actually make a profit. Get everything in writing. Always use the proper lease option agreements drafted by a real estate attorney and approved by a real estate attorney in your state. Now, step number 4, secure the property legally and financially. This protects both you and the seller. You'll need 2 documents. You'll need a lease agreement covering the rental terms and the option agreement covering the purchase terms. Some attorneys combine these into 1 document when you buy, but when you sell, make sure it's always 2. We don't buy like we sell, and we don't sell like we buy. If you're going to buy on a lease option, normally get an option fee of maybe $100 to maybe $1,000. This gives you the legal right to purchase the property and makes the option enforceable. When we're selling on a lease option, we're going to try to get an option fee of 10 to 20% of the purchase price. When you buy on lease option, record a memorandum of the option. This protects your interest and makes sure the seller doesn't go sell it to somebody else. Get the property inspected. Take photos of the condition. If you're responsible for maintenance, make sure that you track what kind of condition it was in when you started renting it. Number 5, find the right tenant buyer. This is where you get paid. So what's your ideal tenant buyer? It's someone who already has a steady income but can't qualify for traditional mortgage. They've saved up money for a down payment, they want to own a home eventually, and they can afford rents that at or above market value. Where do you find them? Craigslist ads, Facebook Marketplace, Zillow rentals, referrals, mortgage brokers, or local realtors who perhaps have buyers who can't qualify for loans yet. Your ad should simply say rent to own or lease option a beautiful home. It should talk about the path to home ownership and explain that they don't need to have perfect credit. In fact, you're more flexible than banks. That's part of the beauty of a lease option. A lot of times our buyers just need another year tax returns or had a medical challenge or went through divorce. Life circumstance happen and they still have good income and good money down but can't qualify for a traditional mortgage yet. After you found them, screen them like you would any other tenant. Verify income, check the references, run the background checks, and make sure that everything lines up. Step number 6, structure the deal with the tenant buyer. This is where you create your profit. Make sure that you have calculated their option price, that you added 5 to 10% to the current market value, buying in the future. Make sure you've calculated the monthly rent, that they're paying you a few hundred above what you're paying out. And normally I'm going to give them a 1-year option and extend if we need to. So let's say you're paying the seller $1,800 a month at a $200,000 option price. Let's say your tenant pays you $2,200 a month at a $220 purchase price. Your profit will be $400 monthly cash flow plus $20,000 when they exercise their option. Of course, they paid you an option fee up front. You get that as well. So make sure they understand the option fee is non-refundable. They're responsible for maintenance and repairs. They must exercise the option by the deadline or they lose their option, unless of course you choose to extend it as we've done countless times. Step number 7, execute and manage the deal. This is the real determination of success that separates those who fall off from those who succeed. Document everything. Sign your lease option agreements with both parties in front of a real estate attorney. Set up proper rent collection mechanisms. Use property management system or service and never accept cash. Always document payments. Make sure the non-refundable deposit is in certified funds. Ask me how I know. Monitor the property. Make sure you have somebody locally go check it every few months. Maybe even change the furnace filter. Ensure maintenance is being done. Just make sure the tenant is keeping their promise, in other words. Help your tenant buyer succeed. Refer them to credit repair or to a local mortgage broker. Remind them of their option deadline if you need to. And step number 8, know your exit strategies. Not every deal ends perfectly. Sometimes tenant buyers have a change of life, move out, quit paying for whatever reason. Now, our objective is always best case scenario. Help them get whatever's broke fixed with their credit and help them cash you out and you get paid. If they don't exercise though, you keep their option fee and either extend it or if they choose to move out, put somebody else in. You can always assign your option to another investor for a fee or negotiate some other terms if you have to. But in other words, always have multiple exit strategies before you enter any lease option deal. Don't get pigeonholed into one deal, which is again why I make my case to buy owner financing whenever possible. Common mistakes to avoid before we wrap up are these: not getting the right to sublet or assign. Without this, you cannot lease option to a tenant buyer. Number 2, not recording your option. If it's not recorded, the seller could sell to someone else without you knowing it. But Andrew, no one would do that to me. Believe me. Always, always, always sign in front of an attorney and stay in control of the deal. Mistake number 3, not pre-screening your tenants properly. Now, they put a big chunk of money down. That solves most of the problems, except you still need to pre-screen them and make sure they have a habit of paying for the place where they live. And mistake number 4, not understanding your state's laws. Some people get hung up trying to do lease options and not understanding the laws or not going through a real estate attorney and wind up doing it the wrong way, and there's a lot of risk involved in that. So do it right. Treat everybody like you want to be treated. Help people succeed, but set yourself up to be in control because not everything will go as planned. These options are incredibly powerful when done correctly, but they require you doing the legal documentation properly to make sure everyone's protected. If you want to learn more advanced strategies like this one, I'm going to show you how to combine lease options with owner financing to create multiple streams of income on every single deal while getting appreciation and depreciation and all the benefits that come along with real estate investing. Just click the link in the description, save your free spot, and if you found this step-by-step breakdown helpful, hit the subscribe button. Have you ever done a lease option before? Drop a comment below and let me know what your experience was like. And I'll see you in the next video.